of I recommended something a while back, and you went to watch Raw on Apple TV Plus. So, do you want to fire off and tell us about Raw on Apple TV Plus?
I do.
What is this?
And I'm going to start by actually reading the IMDb description because I think actually that's an easier way to then ease into it. So ultimately it's an anthology series, and it is described as an insightful, poignant, and sometimes hilarious portrait of what it means to be a woman today, featuring a unique blend of magical realism, familiar domestic professional scenarios, and futuristic worlds. It's an 8-episode series where every episode focuses around, and I think this is sort of the description of it's been described elsewhere as being a sort of modern fables, almost sort of fairy tale.
Yeah.
And it's these eight episodes of different stories focusing on different experiences and representations of things that are the experience of being a woman. One that jumps out to me is called the woman who was kept on a shelf.
Oh yes, yep.
Yes, the woman who was kept on a shelf, which is, without going into any detail and spoiling it, about a woman who is kept on a shelf.
As in the literal sense.
Sure. Let's put it this way. Every episode of this is called "The Woman Who blah 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 ...
Okay.
Literally.
Right.
Literally.
Okay.
Like
cool.
in the write up, they go "The Woman Who's ... literally." So the titles of these episodes are very literal.
Yeah.
Like when they say this, that literally happens.
Wow.
So there is
how long are the episodes, Holly? How long?
They are half an hour.
That's not too bad then.
So the first one was The Woman Who Disappeared. The second
Yep.
one is The Woman Who Ate Photographs.
Yep.
Then the third is The Woman Who Was Kept on a Shelf. Then we have The Woman Who Found Bite Marks on Her Skin. The Woman Who Was Fed by a Duck. The Woman Who Solved Murder. The Woman Who Returned Her Husband. And The Girl Who Loved Horses.
Yes.
We have one girl, all of the rest are women. And they're interesting allegories, I suppose, for want of a better word.
Yes.
And they are very insightful, and they examine a particular. It's not just a female experience. Though many of them are female experiences, but some of them are around race, or certainly the race, sort of, female feminism intersection.
Yep.
And they're quite fascinating. The cast is brilliant.
Yeah, the cast is top rate. Cast is absolutely top rate.
I mean, amongst others, Nicole Kidman and Meera Weaver, who I'm,
Yeah, Meera Weaver's amazing. You've got Issa Rae, you've got Cynthia Erivo, you've got the lady who was in The Hunt.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean, I said that specifically for you. She's the woman who was kept on a shelf, literally.
Yes. Betty Gilpin.
Yes, Betty Gilpin. That's it. Yeah.
And Meera Syal, who is the
she returns her husband.
Let's see. Yes. So yes, Meera Weaver was fed by a duck.
Yep.
Nicole Kidman ate photographs.
Yep.
It was Cynthia
Erivo.
Called Ambia.
She found bite marks on her skin.
Oh no, she found bite marks on her skin. Sorry, yes, Alison Brie is
the woman who solved her own murder. Yeah. So Holly.
Issa Rae who disappeared.
Issa Rae is the one who disappeared. Yeah.
She was so good.
Yeah. Okay. So Holly, I originally saw this because I remember when Raw was released, and this was before I got my access to Apple TV Plus, and so I went to watch it, and after watching it, I was like, I can't talk about this without a woman being present. I think Sean's had some connection issues,
but he doesn't anymore.
Yeah. So and I was thinking, I can't talk about this without having a woman present. I cannot. I feel like if I was to review this, because it's talking a lot about the experience of being a woman, I feel like there's going to be a lot of missing the point if a man comes and goes, well, I'll tell you what I thought about the women experience. So I asked you, I said, I need a woman. So what did you think about this in its entirety? What did you think about this show?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was the odd episode that I was less keen on.
Yep.
But as an overarching experience, I found it fascinating.
Yep.
In many cases, amusing.
Yep.
Insightful.
Yep.
Troubling. I definitely laughed a lot at some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it was sort of chilling viewing. As it will sound odd, the woman who was fed by a duck.
Yeah.
Really, that one gets under your skin. I would say, and to some extent, yes, the woman who was kept on a shelf is a and the woman who disappeared is
I mean, I think the woman who disappeared, I think well, okay, first of all, one of the problems I had with this show is that I thought, like, I know they say the woman who blah 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 literally, and it's based on a book that's by Celia Ahern, and that is a similar kind of thing. But I thought that a lot of because obviously, you got all these titles, they're metaphors. They're metaphors for what happens in women's. But I thought that they were very, very first base. Like, I always thought that, okay, like, oh, the woman who was kept on a shelf. I thought this is the starting point, and then we're going to go somewhere with it. But I found that a lot of the episodes didn't go past that starting point. It's a woman who was kept on the shelf. She was kept and so I'm like, okay, cool. I can kind of see where they're going there. I can understand. Okay, if a woman is kept on the shelf, or that she's kind of like a trophy and everything like that. Okay, I get that. But then you watch the episode and I'm like, oh, that's all it is. It's like, it doesn't seem to go past the first base. And this is why I wanted to speak to a woman, because I'm like, I think I might be missing something here. Because I'm thinking, I feel like it didn't go past the first base of what this was about. The woman who found the bite marks on her skin, and
that I found was quite interesting in in some of what it unpicked.
Yeah, I still felt it was first base. I felt like it's kind of like with almost every episode, I felt like they made their point in the first 5 minutes, and then the rest of the episode, I'm kind of like, make another point. But no, it was just the same point being almost labored, and this is why I was like, I want a woman's point of view on this, because I feel like there might be sort of like lived experiences that you have every single day that invest how you go about doing this. Like the Nicole Kidman episode is like, oh, am I a mom or am I a daughter? The woman who found bite marks on her skin, can I have everything on? What's that going to take from me? And I just, and this was the problem I found, that I just kept finding them a bit first base and not really going anywhere.
I think sometimes that's almost what one needs, though.
Okay.
Is that I'm trying to think that now, episode 1 was the woman who disappeared, and you progressively saw it coming.
Yeah.
But each of them, you saw a resolution in general.
Yeah, yeah.
And whilst the problem itself may not be wildly complicated, I'm sort of thinking this through as I say it.
Yeah.
The problem itself, the premise is, I may have a cat joining me shortly. The premise, it may be relatively simplistic, but it shines a light on something that is in and of itself both simplistic but
complicated,
and to some extent you almost need to not complicate things. And I it's not the best thing I've ever watched, and we'll deal with scores and everything else, but I think actually, because so many things are complicated layers in life that you don't very often get something that is a pure sort of isolated. Max is joining in now. Isolated view of a single, relatively speaking, a single issue.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm sort of investigating what I think of it as I speak here.
Yeah, no, but it is that kind of thing. I think the creators more than anything else want to make you think.
Yeah, and I think it made me think, and I it's continuing to make me think.
Yeah, it just felt a little bit first base to me. That was the thing. Although I have to agree with you, my favorite episode is the woman who was fed by a duck. I don't understand the title. I don't understand what that has to do with anything, but the story that it tells and about how someone can get drawn into a toxic relationship. I thought that was the one where I was like, okay, you're actually giving me something a little bit more than the first.
But I think it's because of the bizarrety of many of them, because they are so, fantastical and ridiculous, that you are able to focus on. And that's the thing about fairy tales, is that they take you out and help you look at something in a different, see an issue in a different context. It's sort of the same view I have about a lot of sci-fi and fantasy writing, is that you see real life issues, but you see them represented in a different sort of environment, so you can focus on the concepts with taken away from your own. You're taken slightly further away from your own innate biases, which we have.
Yes. All right. So we've come to that time. Not to sort of like reinforce the point of Raw and being a man telling a woman to stop talking and give me a number. But
I remember off this once, but don't do it again.
Okay, fine. But how many stars would you give Raw as a series overall?
I think it's a 3.5 because, and I know we're a bit iffy about halves, but given the woman who was fed by a duck is an absolute 5 for me. And I can't remember off the top of my head which ones I thought were, certainly to a 2 or a 1. But so I think on balance, probably a 3.5 reflects the.
Sean, you're looking to say something.
I was just going to say, perhaps what you should do, the pair of you sometimes, like me and Tosin do with our animated series, is maybe do it episode by episode and then get yourself a good average, because that works pretty well, I think.
I was gonna suggest that Holly and I, we get together and we do one of our, I think we call it episode by episode. That's what we're gonna start calling them. Episode for anthology series, we do an episode by episode thing, because each one of them is pretty much its own small film. Its own short film, and do that. Although, Sean, I would say, if you're going to watch this, the episode that I think you will both love and also get annoyed by is The Girl Who Loved Horses, the final episode, because that is all a Western.
Oh, yes. Right. Okay.
The whole thing is a Western, and there's bits. What I was watching this, I was like, "Ooh, Western! Sean will like this." But also bits of it, I was going, "Oh, Sean will like that." Like it might set off Sean's "why would you do that?" or "hang on a second, how does that make any sense?" sort of radar. It might set it off, but I think that would be if you're going to watch one episode, watch The Girl Who Loved Horses, because I think you would quite like that one. All right, so 3.5, and I was expecting from that you would go a little bit. I was thinking it was going to be a 3.5, because for me, I would probably give it a 3. I'll give it
shift up to, because I've just been glancing down the list of episodes again and thinking, actually, no, I do think it's a 4.
Yeah.
Because I think on balance, they pretty much all sat at a 3 or 4, except for one which I didn't really enjoy as much.
All right, cool. Which one was that?
I didn't particularly like The Girl Who Loved Horses.
Yeah.
It didn't resonate.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautifully shot. It has a lot of Western tropes in it, but at the end you're like, what? and it's one of the few ones where the title of the episode has almost nothing to do with what actually happens in the episode.
And the one I most enjoyed was probably the one that made me smile the most, was The Woman Who Returned Her Husband.
Oh yeah.
And the woman who solved her own murder was quite fascinating. in many ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have to do.
We'll do an episode by episode thing. That's for another time. But for now, let's go on to the next thing on streaming, and that is going to be